Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is a one shot that I'm running as part of Star Wars Saturdays. And what's Star Wars Saturdays? If this is the first time you've stumbled upon this series I've been running for nigh on to 6 years, welcome. Star Wars Saturdays is a game series. It's an anthology series I've been running for members of a gaming community that is known as the Open Hearth, where we have an RSVP cool site called Playable, and folks will go on. I offer up a different game each month, and folks will go on and RSVP their interest. And each month is a different system. Now I just finished up where it wasn't true for like almost 3 months. I ran one particular system, but outside of occasional quarterlies, I'll run a different system. People will show up and they can either revisit characters that they've played in different systems, pick up NPCs that were introduced in games, or they can create a wholly new character, create those characters in that new system in a corner of the Star Wars galaxy and tell a story together. This is a one shot of Hollowpoint because this is not a game that I can see running over a long period because the death rate is high. Hollowpoint is a game that came out in 2011 from VSCA Publishing. Brad Murray's the designer. It is a Tridindi game. It's got some more traditional GM and players elements, rounds, initiative, but a lot of story elements within the mechanics. It's designed to be, it was John Wick before John Wick was a thing, hyper competent agents who do bad things against bad people. And it's quite interesting. I'm looking forward to running this Hollowpoint game. This will be the first time I've run Hollowpoint. I've played a one shot of it over 5 years ago. I have scant memories of the game. I've read through the book in preparation for this game and gotten some things prepared for our session. I did GM prep, friends. I know it's weird. Like, who even am I anymore? What kind of story gamer am I? Prep, mein Gott. So I did the thing for you guys. I am using as a setting, I've stolen this from Andesh. He ran this amazing series of his hack of No God's Country, which is a Forged in the Dark game that is in development from a couple of Drakes. You can find it on their itch page. And No God's Country, he called it No Moss Galaxy and created this entire planet, because that's something you could do in Star Wars. You're like, oh, there's 20 blue zillion planets on Wikipedia, but I want to tell a story. I'm gonna make my own planet. If Andor can do it, so can we, suckers. Anyway, I like Rasu 3. It's a very cool planet that is under Imperial control, that has only been under control for, say, a generation or so, and there is a group of rebels fighting against the Imperial Fist, known as the Friction, because they're not attached to the rebellion. And I kind of hand waved an excuse for that here. I don't know if it makes any kind of sense with the fiction in Andesh's head, but I think it lines up to what we did in the No God's Country game. Who knows? It's loose ties. Hancha first. So in the idea of Rasu 3, McClunky, it's under Imperial control, but the New Republic Special Forces, which is your agency that you work for, it's a cadre of New Republic leaders who are working off the books to try to take out Imperial remnants. I'm thinking a little bit of, if you've seen, oh shoot, I've almost remembered it and then it went away. The Tarantino movie about the mostly Jewish guys who something bastards who go into occupied Germany and hunt down Nazi bastards. Loved that one. I can't remember the first part of it. Inglorious Bastards. Thank you so much. Inglorious Bastards. A bit of that. So they're off the books. The New Republic Special Forces have this cadre of groups. You're not official agents for the new. Like if you show up, You're known as a citizen if you want to. If you say that your character is, you're known as a citizen in the New Republic if that's the thing you wanted from them. But they've hand selected you to go on these missions deep within the Imperial remnants because, as I haven't explained for this video, our timeline is somewhere just after the end of Return of the Jedi, where Palpatine fell into a chasm in a Death Star that blew up and is obviously never coming back again, and The Mandalorian. So it's nestled in the middle of that. Mandalorian stuff hasn't quite happened yet. Return of the Jedi over, and we have Imperial remnants such as Zsinj's Empire, which I literally stole from the books that is considered legends and not canon, and that's fine with me. But I think it's neat. So that's a long monologue that I keep talking, but I'm gonna go. The setup here is that the agency is that you guys are provided the mission by the New Republic Special Forces, and the agency destroys your enemy is Imperial officials, the last cogs in the great machine that did so much harm to the galaxy, and we are in the nascent New Republic era. The mission that has been given to your three operatives, because I can't really call you agents because that's actually a rank, but your operatives, the primary objective is to assassinate Governor Arahim Karas in High Ivis City during the festival. You'll notice that's vaguely named. We're going to discover what kind of festival it is in just a few moments. And then your secondary objective is to take out or disable the comm dampening array and the Argos orbital space station so that rebel forces can communicate with the New Republic and organize the efforts to free Rasu 3 with the Friction, which is the aforementioned rebellious organization on Rasu 3. I have literally stolen this from Andesh's thing. I was like, should I redesign it? Nope, this is great. I love it the way it is. I literally stole all these NPCs for some reason. I just decided to find a different picture for Vok Audi. So, Santashi Henstridge. I like stunt casting. I can't help myself. But we also have other areas we want to create new NPCs. And then now we're to our team. So I pause. And now it is time for my three cohorts here to introduce themselves and tell us a bit about your character. I'm going to start from the right-hand side of the character keeper to Andesh. Thank you for allowing me to take Rasu 3 from you. And I'm sorry for all the trouble that I may have caused with this planet.
No. I'm happy for someone else to get some use out of it. That's great. Yeah, I'm Anders. I use the he/him pronouns. I'm playing Dino Smart, who is a human. He's a hired killer, and this is his last job. He has huge debts, and the New Republic has promised to pay them off if he goes on this mission. He is ruthless and dangerous. He's a slicer. Yeah, he's a scary guy.
It's a great pick that you've chosen for him. I quite like that pick. I have yet to use it on an NPC that lasted very long, so I don't have any like mental attachments to it. This is Dino. It will be Dino in my brain forever. I love it. And then Sabine, who played in the No God's Country game with us, introduce yourself and tell us about the character that you've brought to the table.
Hi, I'm Sabine. I use any pronouns, and I'm playing Matavi, who uses he, they pronouns. Matavi is a Rhodian, came up through kind of spy gang, I guess, for the Friction, but moved on to more amazing things because he's just so fucking awesome and cool, I guess. He's, yeah, he is missing his left antenna. I'll leave the story until it comes to a point where it's actually useful in the game. And he's pretty good at stealth, and he has jet boots, and he can fly around. So
I love Matavi with jet boots. I love a return of Matavi. This is great. No notes. Thank you for bringing them back. And last but not least is Stephen.
Hi, my name's Steven, and my pronouns are he, him. And I'm playing Sparkles, the agent today. Sparkles is uses the they them pronouns. Sparkles is an ex-Imperial sharpshooter. And is kind of has a tattoo or scar on the forehead. And is good with guns, like shooting and killing people. Maybe a little bit too excitable, like always seems to be on.
Always on. Oh, that's not going to be a problem at all for anybody. Cool. Now, as part of this game, the players assigned values to 6 different skills. The skills in Hollowpoint, by default, the game is created to be eminently hackable. But the skills by default are very flavorful. So I have put tooltips on row B for each of them in case you're like, wait, am I doing terror or am I doing kill? Kill is shooting, stabbing, driving people over with a tank. That's killing people. Terror is causing terror and making people afraid of you by acting badly. Hopefully that's dig is finding out info. Take is stealing stuff. Con is tricking people, and cool is just for being awesome, leading people, being interesting. That's your charisma check. Because there are 3 players, we start with 15 points in the teamwork pool. We'll talk about teamwork when we get into our first encounter. I, as the GM, am allotted, because there are, I count the number of players and I get to include myself, 4 players. So I start with, for our first conflict, 8 dice. That is important because that's my budget for conflict. And when you win an encounter, my budget goes up by 2. Every time you win an encounter, my budget goes up by 2. If you decide that this encounter is not worth the cost and you run, my budget goes up by 2 because you shouldn't be cowards. The game explicitly says this. So it is built to tick up the tension and the challenge. Be advised. This is why I have had to prepare, because that's an expectation of the game. First and foremost, I think it's important for us to establish what kind of festival is taking place. This is a festival I'm imagining. Like, I'm from East Tennessee, and it's nestled within the Appalachian Mountains, and there are a significant amount of agricultural roots in East Tennessee. Therefore, the annual festival that's very important, happens in October, is called the Apple Festival because there are many, many apple orchards. There are also a lot of tobacco farms there, but we don't have a tobacco festival. We have an apple festival with a 5K fun run, and you can get apple butter and apple cider and all kinds of apple fritters, lots of cool stuff. And I think it's delightful, and I love the idea that Rasu has a kind of festival that predates the Imperial occupation, perhaps even predates a lot of the industrial revolution of Rasu. So it can be tied to something seasonal, such as the reason that Apple Festival happens in October is that's after the harvest, you have a ton of apples around. It could also be around the blooming of a particular thing. It could be around the migration of a particular animal. And let's not say the first person who throws out one is the one we go with. Let's just talk for a moment or two, and I think it'll give us a little bit of an idea of what Rasu was, what the Imperials may have taken from them, but still pay lip service to. I'm also drawing heavily from Andor and the idea of the festival with the eye. If you remember that set of episodes, if you haven't seen Andor, you can politely leave the game if you want and go watch it, because it's going to be better than anything we do here. It's just the best Star Wars. I'm sorry. I'm going to do my best, friends. We're going to have a good time. But is it going to be better than Andor? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you guys can impress me with that and make this better than Andor. But I'm still going to have fun, even if Andor is better than what we do. I'm just saying that. So I'll pause now. My long second monologue. What are some ideas that y'all have about a potential festival that is being used as cover for your attempt to assassinate the governor?
Maybe it's an old. I like the idea of it being old and traditional and really rooted in what Rasu used to be. Maybe it's the celebration of a certain thing, like the not the Ark of the Covenant clearly, but some kind of statue or something getting carried around the city and people following along and being excited, or it could be some sort of I'm throwing things out, right? Some sort of cattle, like cows, thing where they just get driven through the city because it's traditional, right? And I think that could cause a lot of mayhem.
Mayhem. Those are both great. The idea of carrying around a statue and cattle's driven through the city. Sparks, aka Steven.
I think that so the thing I'm going to toss out is I think we're in the time of year when the weather changes and it gets very windy, and there's kind of the equivalent of a kite festival where people put up kites in the air and they flutter around and all of that.
That's neat. Oh, I really like that. It is Saturday, so if you suggested a pizza festival, I would be inclined towards it. See, in the Rogers household, Saturday is pizza day.
Like those, I think kind of like the carrying the statue thing, but I was thinking maybe it's people like building statues to carry around, like showing off what they made. So like the whole neighborhood comes together and they build their statue, and everyone's like marching around showing off their statues, trying to impress everyone.
Ooh, that's really interesting because that could easily be stoked into some problems. Oh, these are all so good. See, I knew asking all y'all, I'd be like, oh, them asking for trouble because how are we going to choose? All right, to restate, we have a celebration of an ancient statue where you parade around the statue carrying it in the city. Built onto that, the idea that blocks or different neighborhoods will build statues that either talk about their history, and there's a little bit of a light competition between who best on the block or best statue or piece of art on the block. Cattle or space cattle, because Star Wars, driven through the city, and then a kite festival. Those all four are really interesting. I'm going to say the building statues and block contest, I'm going to like layer that on top of the first. So we're down to 3 now. So laser cows driven through the city, kite festival, and statue festival. Nerf. Yeah, they're nerfs. Like it's basically a nerf herder thing.
Maybe we can combine the kite thing with the statue thing, because these statues are accompanied traditionally by kites. That's kind of, yeah. Like you have the statue and then you decorate it with flowers and kites and stuff like that.
So you got some stuff down on the ground, and then we've got kites up in the air, and people building, and maybe they're hanging some of the kites to fly off of the statues. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that idea. What if actually the statues are carried through the town and they're decorated with this colorful paper, but once we set them out on a nearby hill, that's whenever the wind picks up the paper and the kites fly off of the statue.
Yep, I like that. I like the wind playing a part of it, because it establishes that we have a strong wind going through the city. but you have to keep your statue intact while you're walking through the city. And no, we're not playing that game.
That stuff that's all going on in the background. It reminds me of I've recently watched a good bit of some behind the scenes on Waterworld, one of the most expensive movies ever made at the time. And in this documentary, they talked about all the things they did to create the atoll, which is the beginning setting or hard hold, if you think in apocalypse world terms. And then I went and watched the movie, and the hard hold exists for a full 20 minutes before it's attacked, destroyed, and the entire story moves away from it. And they spent so much time creating an entire culture and a village, and it's amazing. Like, they went to Lockheed Martin and had them build a special strut that they could pile the village onto. It's so much went into that thing that lasted 20 minutes on screen. It just blows my mind. There's a part of me that was like, man, they should have done, like, if they did that today, the idea of a water world like prestige series would be so freaking cool. But it's 30 years old, so it's super rotted, and now they have a stunt show, a water world stunt show. It's about the last vestiges of that not great movie that had a really cool world building aspect. I like the idea of these statues because it talks about the fact these guys, this world became industrial for a reason. I think it's that instinct to build, and so this harkens back to the olden days for Rasu, before the skies were polluted, before things became worse, when the Empire continued to drive that engine forward. I really like that. It has a little bit of a dwarven vibe to it, to cross the streams and talk about fantasy stuff, but I'm okay with crossing the streams. It also feels a little Andor when I can't stop talking about Andor. So I like it. And then the kites is cool because it feels like the idea of the Windy City gives such an interesting scape to, yeah, if the wind's up, the air is breathable, but if the wind doesn't pick up with all the smokestacks that we saw from the pictures, like it's a smoggy place. So that's very cool. I like it. And the kites, that's fun because it adds a lot of dash of color and gets us out of just pure mechanical things. So wonderful. And that means that we have a couple of things here. I want to make sure I think that means there are maybe a pair of peaks, let's say like some twin peaks. Sorry for the reference if that makes people think of just the TV show, but the idea of like a pair of mountains that are nearby. And I don't know if you'd said that Iva City was near the water, but I kind of like the idea of it being on a bay. Okay, cool. So we're now establishing it's near the bay. Cool. Excellent. I apologize. That was poorly timed. I remember I once I had that perennial complaint of like, why is the waiter always coming by to ask me for something when my mouth is full? And then I sat and did a self check and realized maybe it's because I'm eating all the time when I sit down at a restaurant to eat. And when's the waiter supposed to come by? Because if they wait too long, then you get upset and you tip them less. So just gotta make it happen. Cool. I really like these characters. I especially love how angry Sparkles looks. Just such a surly look to that face. I love Matavi from previous, so I have warm feelings. I'll feel sad when that character probably dies. And Dino, you're not a very good guy. I think I might feel okay if you go down, Dino Smark. I might feel okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to practice playing bad people more, so it's fine if he dies. It's I don't care.
All right. I love it. And again, Hollowpoint, bad people killing bad people for bad reasons is the little sub thing on Hollowpoint. Good. We pick up, like, our establishing shot is smog over the industrial sector of Ivas City. we see within Iva's city very obviously, and I'm drawing a little bit from for Avatar: The Last Airbender fans, like the idea of kind of a layered city, because we have, as defined in Rasu, that Iva's city. There's a lower a low Ivas, middle Ivas, and high Ivas. So kind of like the idea of it being a little bit plateaued towards the bay. And low Ivas, the smog and smoke just kind of hangs down there until when the winds start. And it's a pretty workaday industrialized place. There are a lot of people in mud and rust colored clothing, hard workers, soot covered faces, and there are also occasionally the sounds of the scream of TIE fighters as they soar overhead. Yes, I love that terrifying noise that the one single TIE fighter made in the Andor. That was such a moment. I can't stop talking about Andor. I apologize. I can't stop, won't stop. And we know that Matavi is here. They're embedded. They're part of the friction. They're part of this world. But I'm curious too. Wait, what's the two?
It's a victory.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Sparkles. How is it that you are introduced? Do you arrive on planet? Are you here? Like, where do Sparkles come from? What's our introduction to them?
So I think that we see Sparkles come through that industrial work area, and it's just, comes out of the just comes out of the smoke-filled street, just striding. It's kind of mysterious. Where did probably I landed a ship outside of the, city in an open area and just walked in, but it's very dramatic, and I'm going to head towards our meetup point.
Nice.
And, I think people are going about their regular day, working, headed to work, that kind of stuff. And I'm obviously not. I'm obviously just walking down the street, headed towards a particular location. I think we're going to meet up in a cantina someplace.
Sure. I think that sounds great to me. I now need to think of a cantina, but I like the challenge. What about Dino? Are you saying Smark?
Yeah, smart.
Okay, cool. What about Dino Smark? How are we introduced to Dino Smark?
Yeah, I think we first see him when he's entering the cantina, but he's coming in like the back way through the kitchen, and there's someone there who starts to, hey, what are you doing here? And he just like stares them down, and they think better of it and just let him walk on through.
Nice. He does not have time for their trifling pettiness. This cantina serves a lot of folks who work in and we again look at our Rasu here. I think that that's awesome. It serves folks who work in Smelter City. Smelter City is located, it has low security. There are a lot of smelteries here that recycle scrap, and we see, the Fighting Nexu. Thank you very much. Is the name of this cantina. Music playing is piped in. I don't imagine that there would be a live band in the afternoon when you guys are meeting. There are, as we see Sparkles heading towards the Fighting Nexu, a number of banners up and Sparkles passes by as one of the neighborhoods has already started building their statue as part of the Rasu festival. I think they just, Rasu festival. They just call it. It's a planetary festival, and it's Star Wars, so all planets are one city. That's just how it works. And Matavi, why did you choose the Fighting Nexu as the meeting point with these two operatives?
Because the Fighting Nexu has, unbeknownst to many, they have a sort of a movable roof where you can just move part of it. And I have the remote, so I can just when everybody's there, I can just slide open the roof part of the roof and just go into it on my jet boots, because I like having an entrance.
Dino, when you see Sparkles, you recognize them. Do you recognize them by rumor or because the two of you have worked together before?
Ooh. Yeah, I think we worked. Maybe we were actually on opposite sides of a job at one point. And it was, yeah, think I think Sparkles killed someone I was supposed to be a bodyguard for. Yeah,
Nice.
and that's part of why I'm in so much debt now, because I failed that job, I didn't get paid, and then things kind of snowballed.
Nice. What Sparkles, how did you pull that off, or how did you best Dino's mark in that little encounter? Like, did you take advantage of strategic aspect of the setup that Dino wasn't aware of, or did you fool Dino by leaning into something your research had told you? Like, how do you think you?
I think I took a shot from a further distance than Dino had thought could be done. I think that there were guards and droids for a certain distance, and they were looking for assassins from within that area or threats from within that area. But I was outside of the area taking a shot that wasn't feasible.
Nice. Just something a little risky, a little out of the ordinary. The three of you, after Matavi's very ostentatious entrance, sorry, total opposite of the word. Entrance, the roof slides closed, and Matavi puts what looks not unlike a puck down in a hollow, pops up in the middle, and you see that there is a female Twi'lek, and she looks to Matavi, nods. The three of you have been gathered for this very important mission. Dino, what does and you don't have to burn it, this is just for color and also to introduce our spy droid. What is the spy droid doing to make sure that no one is eavesdropping as you receive this mission in our little cutscene opening?
I think it like hovers over us, and it's emitting a field. It's not like it doesn't stop sound, but it distorts it, so that
nice.
People can hear that we're talking, but they can't hear what we're saying.
Each of you were recruited specifically for your skill set. It is vitally important that you complete the mission tonight. Your primary objective is to assassinate Governor Arahim Karas. He has a penthouse apartment in High Ivas City. During the Rasu festival, you will be alone in the penthouse. Entrance into the penthouse will be on you, but I am sure that you have the skill set to take care of that. Your secondary objective is wholly different. There's a comm dampening array in the Argos orbital space station. The New Republic is unable to communicate with the friction. Taking down this, disabling this space station will enable communication to flow so we can coordinate together and further our aims. You've all accepted the very handsome payment offered, and I expect success. If any of you fall, I have secondary teams ready to step in and aid you, but you are our best hope for success. And then the image diffuses, and you guys have your mission. So I have prepared kind of a tutorial mission so that we can get used to how dice work here. But I don't want to say that we have to do it. But I was imagining that infiltrating the building could be a opening mission tutorial and get us used to the dice. So this is a quick check-in. Do folks want to take our mid-game break here before we get into that? I think that'd be a good idea, right? All right, cool. All right, we are back. So, as I had said before, I have the idea around infiltrating the apartment complex being your first challenge. It'll be our first conflict. It'll give us an opportunity to see you guys do some awesome things and also to get our feet wet with the mechanics. So, what you have is a skyscraper that has a pretty significant amount of security in the main floor. The idea behind it being, if you make it through the stormtroopers that they have, this is an Imperial executive set of apartment suites. If you make it through these bits of security, then you must be legit and can move throughout the building rather freely. There are also some probe droids that circle around the exterior of the building, keeping watch on things. And the governor, your target, is on the penthouse in a very opulent and beautiful place that is quite nice for someone to rule from. It has views of the rest of Ivas City as well as the bay, and he could even see the Twin Peaks on where the Rasu festival will culminate. The plan as it was designed by you after receiving your orders is to infiltrate the penthouse while he is alone, because he never participates in Rasu festival. He himself is not a Rasu native, and they rewrote the constitution for him to be appointed as governor of Rasu. So he is effectively an imperial appointed governor, not a governor of a state like in America, but the governor of Rasu itself. So I have 8 dice that will be used in conflict against you. That is a lot of dice. The way that this will work is I have laid out what the challenge is that you're trying to overcome and enough details for you to at least have an idea. And each of you at the start of the round will define what is the skill that you're bringing to bear to try to defeat this conflict or win this conflict. So we'll start with Sabine. What skill is interesting for you to use with Matavi here?
I think I'm going to use take to get us some code cylinders to get into the building.
Ah, cool. Okay. All right. So
Do
you're
you want more detail on this, or is that
No,
just?
I think we can
okay.
define that when we hit the dice. That's good. I just need to know at the top what's the skills that are coming to bear. Stephen, for Sparkles, what skill are you intending to use here?
I'm thinking cool. I'm an ex-Imperial, so I would know, where the gaps in the security might be.
Okay, that makes sense. And then Dino, what skill are you bringing to bear here?
I think dig works here. Like I have sliced into the system to find passwords and codes and that sort of thing to get us through doors and be able to bluff at least parts of the security.
Okay. Awesome. So we have all of that set up. And by the way, I'm rolling straight into a conflict. There are checks or skill checks that exist in this game outside of a full-on conflict. They work as you would expect. You roll dice, you're looking, you roll a number of dice, you're looking for pairs. Pairs, triples, if so, the check is a success. Otherwise, the check is a failure. So we are looking for pairs in a regular skill check. Now I want to jump straight into rolling a conflict. So I am going to be rolling 8 dice, which I will be using to come at all of y'all. Now, the next question I asked before we start actually rolling the dice, and it looks like we got pink dice for one of our players, so I'm going to choose a different color so that I can differentiate. I think I'm going to choose black dice, and I'm going to use...
When you say dice, you mean six-sided dice, right?
I do. Thank you for asking that question. Yes, you are definitely using six-sided. All right, I'm going to drag my dice over. Now, the next question before we get into things is this. And I'm going to use our example conflict here because I think that's pretty useful. All right. So we use the skills. All right, now you need to bid for teamwork dice. You can bid for none. You can bid for someone helping you. Now, here's how helping works. This is one of the wrinkles of this game I personally have never seen before and think is pretty neat. Remember, the tone of this game is a little harsher than some of the games that we normally play. So please keep that in mind as I describe this. So the way that it works is this. You can say, okay, I'm going to roll my dice, and you just roll your dice. At the beginning of the round, I say, you're going to bid for teamwork dice. If you bid for teamwork dice, what you are saying is, you know what? I don't like the total of dice I have here. I want to ask, let's say Sparkles, for example. Sparkles, who's using cool, I really like for Dino to help me. So you, Steven, would say, I'm bidding for Dino to help me. If Dino agrees, or if Anders, if you agree, then Sparkles takes your cool dice to add to Sparkles' cool and rolls all of them together in the conflict. That means, Dino, you will narratively tell us how you are helping Sparkles. You don't roll dice in this first round of the conflict. The good news is that you're not going to take hits as a result because you are helping, and it is Sparkles who's putting things on the line. If Steven says, yeah, I want Dino to help Sparkles on this roll, unless you decide, nah, I'm really interested in having Dino dig for information, you can say, nah, cark that, you're on your own. Which now means, because Undesh, you said no, you refused to help Sparkles. Sparkles looks weaker in this exchange, and you get to go pull 2 dice from Sparkles and use that in your roll. But then Steven, having asked for teamwork and not gotten it, you, Steven, for Sparkles can look at that 15 teamwork dice that we have built on the character keeper, and you can take as many of those as you want. They only last for the whole mission, the 15, and you don't really replenish them. So just take what you want from the teamwork dice.
They get replenished whenever a new character joins, right?
Yes, when someone dies, the teamwork dice rejigger. Otherwise, it's once per mission. Yep. It doesn't easily refresh, I guess is what I should have said instead. Does that make some kind of sense? One time through. Yes?
I'm not sure I got all of it. I can say, if someone asks me for help, I can say yes, they get my dice in the skill they're using for their role. I don't.
And you're helping them. You don't do anything. You're not rolling dice.
Or I say no, and I get 2 dice from the team pool.
No. If you refuse, you take 2 of their dice.
Oh, right.
From them. And you'll take 2 dice from the skill they were going to use.
Yeah. Cool.
That you get to add to your pool, even if it's a different skill. So, now at the top of the round, we know what skills people are using. I will go around the keeper to ask, Sparkles, are you bidding for any teamwork? And by the way, you can talk it out a little bit if you want. You can ask questions. We're not in a rush. This is our tutorial phase. We pause, and there's like little pop-ups that come on the screen for us to read and all that fun stuff.
So, Dino, you're digging. Matavi, what are you doing again?
You're
taking? I'm taking stuff that would help us get it through security controls and stuff like that. Code cylinders, stuff like that.
So Matavi, can I have help from you?
I guess that makes sense in that direction we're going, because we're going for the same thing basically, like getting through security with tech.
Okay, so Sparkles is bidding for help from Matavi.
Yeah,
and Matavi agrees.
You want to have my take dice, I imagine.
Actually, Sparkles is going to continue on, Sparkles is asking for the help. So Sparkles is taking your cool dice.
Okay. Yeah, my cool dice. Okay. Even better for him, I guess.
Oh, which means... we take the dice of,
you're the roller.
Their skill. Yeah.
Yeah. You're still doing your skill. You're asking for help. By asking for help, if the other person agrees, they're throwing their skill at you to add to your total pool of dice. They're not going to lose any dice, so you can use that skill later. It doesn't deplete, but it can take hits. Which means at the end, Sparkles is rolling 9 dice. You guys are so cool. Why did they hire you to assassinate someone? I don't fucking know. This seems like a bad choice.
We're so fucking cool, that's why.
You're just so cool. They don't actually kill anybody, but they are cool about it.
I'm gonna freeze them.
So you've got 9
freeze their brain.
So now, before we commit to anything, though, we go around so everybody can bid, which means that you can, like Sparkles, you bid for Matavi to help you. Dino, you could bid for Matavi to help you. And then Sabine, you get to make the decision of, do I help either of them or neither of them? If you help neither of them, you take 4 dice. You take 2 dice from Steven and 2 dice from Undesh in the skills they were about to use. And then they both can grab from the teamwork pool if they so choose.
Oh, that's kind of neat, right?
It is pretty neat.
Because then I would have 8 dice.
So at this point, Steven, you've bid for help from Matavi.
Yes.
Sabine, do you want to bid for any teamwork? Are you asking for any help?
Nah, I'm not asking for any help. I'm willing to give help, maybe. We'll see. I'm willing to say that I'll give help, but I'm
cool.
Not,
all right, that's good. We don't have to go any further. We got that. And then, Undesh, for you, is Dino, are you bidding for any teamwork help for Dino?
I'm not, if only because they are so bad at dig. So I would
They wouldn't
use
give you much help. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Wow, they literally are not good at dig. Wow, that's the worst. You could basically ask them for help knowing they'd say no, and then they'd take 2 dice from you, but you could take a bunch from teamwork, but then you kind of double screw. So yeah, I'm just talking it out so we can game it more easily next time. Okay, so now we
Let me
circle back around. Yes.
let me go through a hypothetical situation. Let's say Dino requested help, and from Sparkles, Sparkles refused. He would take 2 of the 9 dice.
No. If Dino asks for help from Sparkles,
Mhm.
and this is an edge case that I didn't read about in the examples that are listed in the book, but if Dino is asking for help from Sparkles and is skilled that Sparkles has 0 in, where does that take from?
Maybe you hope that Sparkles refuses and he can then take a team dice, I guess.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a definite way that you
Yeah.
can do
Okay.
it. But let's
Yeah.
just okay. Players asking for support narrates why he deserves the help. Helper cannot have a second stage effect. Have to be part of the scene. Okay. If he says yes, okay. Takes the dice from the hand of the helping player is now out of the conflict for the round. The helper's dice. Oh, yeah. So if if Dino asks for help with dig from Sparkles and Sparkles agrees, then it appears Dino will get no dice because Sparkles can help at dig but sucks at dig, so doesn't do anything. But if Sparkles says, no, I'm not going to help you, then Sparkles takes dice from Dino for what Sparkles was going to do. And then Dino grabs dice from the teamwork pool.
Got it. That makes
So
sense.
asking
Okay.
for help from somebody who has 1 or 0 in the skill you're using is only a good idea if you intend on them saying no. But ultimately, it's that player's choice. So, and it's a get out of jail free card if you agree to teamwork. So you become the shitty sidekick where you have plot immunity for that round. You can't take any hits, but you're not actively helping. You're just effectively riding on the coattails of someone else. Does that make it more clear, Stephen? Cool. And thank you for asking that question because I needed to like piece it together. So there is definitely some strategic.
It also looks like there's fan mail as an option over on the right.
There certainly is. So teamwork also at any point, if somebody does something really cool, you can draw from the teamwork pool to give them a die, and then they can just sit on it and use it later. It's just a teamwork. You can stick it in notes, or I didn't really put a place on the character keeper for it, but you can do that. Cool. Okay, so now we circle back to Sabine. Do you agree to help Sparkles and give all your cool dice?
I mean, why not?
Okay.
He can probably, he probably needs the help, yeah.
All right. Now that means that Sabine Matavi is narratively helping Sparkles. Sparkles is using cool to what was it again? You using cool to like
I'm an ex-Imperial, so I am using my knowledge of leadership to know where the gaps in the security would be.
I like it. Good. And I think that intent and goal is great because once the dice hit the table, we'll suss out like action for action how the round goes out. Okay. Thank you for putting labels over your dice. Excellent choice, everybody. The GM needs to do that as well. All right, I am going to screen share and let's restate. Sparkles is going to be rolling 9 dice for cool with the idea of using their imperial knowledge and ken to find weaknesses in the security system. Matavi, how narratively do you imagine? And you don't have to go too far. Just like an idea of, are you just Sparkle's backup? Are you a spotter or a lookout? How do you imagine Matavi is placed at the beginning of the scene?
So he's kind of talking his way through the other Imperials, right? And I think I'm in the shadows. I'm just stealing stuff while we walk on. Give it to him, like the similar code of this other guy, so he can
Okay, don't go too
actually
far. Don't
back
go
that
too
up.
far. That's
Okay.
good. That's good. That's
Yep.
good. That's good. We'll suss all that out. What's the dice hit the
Oh,
table?
wow,
That's
okay.
good. I just need the
Mhm.
intent.
Okay.
Awesome. And then Dino, you're doing dig to gather intel and get everybody in, slicing in. You're using 4 dice. So with all of that ready to go, go ahead. I'm gonna roll all my 8 dice right now. They are black dice, and I am gonna screen share. We're gonna work this out.
Whoa. Oh no.
Yep. So we are looking for pairs
Wow.
and I've got everything matchy. So this is bad news for you guys.
Yeah.
Yep, things are looking bad. All right, so Sparkles is have you roll your 9 dice. If you want to throw in another yellow die and pull that over and roll all 9 of those dice, that's cool. Or if you wanted to roll all of them and not differentiate that they were Natabi's dice, that's
Where's
fine
my
with me. I don't care.
die?
Okay, I've got 9 dice. I'm just gonna roll them, and of course they're scrambled on your screen. So let me roll that. Okay. So now I'm gonna pull over my pairs.
Mhm.
I've
Oh,
got
okay.
a pair of 5s, but a second pair of 5s.
And this 6 you didn't roll that I see, right?
The 6 in the bottom left I did not roll. Yeah.
I'm going to delete that.
I've got a pair of 1s, and then I have singles that did not match up.
Okay. So
Okay.
Matavi's not rolling any dice. Dino, you're rolling your 4, if I remember correctly, 4 cool dice.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and have you roll your 4 cool dice.
Dig. But
Okay.
yeah.
So it looks like you have a single pair. All right.
Yeah.
This is where it gets a little wild. We'll go through it. We'll go through it slowly. So we determine the order of the sets, knock them out, and inflict effects, and narrate as we go. So once you see the dice, you sort them into sets. Each has a length and a value. So if you roll 3 4s, it's 3 times 4. The set's length is 3, and the value is 4. This is a 4x6. This is a 2x2. This is a 2x1. The order, the sets of the same length by the number, length by value. So the length, okay, the length is is 3, is the number of them. So the highest length is 4. And then everybody else, oh wait, do we actually have 4 5s?
Yeah.
Holy cat. So okay, that's awesome. Okay, anytime players can burn traits to add dice, which means you narratively talk about it. You can cross off that trait, narrate the loss of it, and then roll 2 more dice from your pool. You can even do that on the next round if you want. You could do it this round. You could do it next round. You could do it as I'm starting to knock out sets. You could do it within then. The longest, highest set remaining is the hit that is processed, and long sets go before short ones. So we've got, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just from my visual, what we've got is 4x6 and 4x5, which is amazing. These dice aren't part of the conflict. No matches there, and then 2x2. Okay, so let's. Okay, in terms of order of action, anytime the players may burn twice. Yeah, it's gonna take us a moment to get through it. Long sets go before short ones. Longest highest set value goes first. Ties, players go first over GM. The owner selects a target, narrates how their declared skill is being brought to bear on the target in the context of the conflict. If the target has any sets, the target must remove 1 die from one of those sets. The narration should reflect the fact that the opponent is suppressed in some fashion, but nothing further. When facing down a lone gunman, this may involve him seeking cover. When facing down a dozen street thugs, it might well be an injury or a death, but the gang is only inconvenience. When a hit is scored, it removes a die from the shortest, highest set on the target with the fewest sets. So, yeah, sorry, I'm reading through to help us remember. So, a set with length 2, it will be reduced to a singleton, which means it remains in play in case you burn a trait, but it's no longer part of the action sequence. So I'm going to be in a complete dick because it's my job in this game. And I'm going to say I get to go first because I have a 4x6. It's the length with the highest value. I'm going to burn this 6. So I'm just going to drop it down here to take out one of Dino's dice. So what does that look like? Now we move to a little bit of narration. We're going to go round for round until we've resolved all the dice. Dino, you're trying to slice in for some information, to dig for details, and I imagine that you are, well, I don't think this is being wired. This is a wired like lockdown I'm stealing from Shadowrun. It's the idea that you have to go in and jack in like R2D2 or Red 5. And so does Dino have a jack? Is he using a droid? How is he basically sneaking in on this main like ground level and jacking into one of the systems?
I think he actually he jacks in physically, like he pulls out a cable with one of those droid data port things from his arm and plugs in with.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're more machine than man. I love it. So you do that, and when you first to dial in, I think it's one of those, it's got ice, or it's got some and it starts sending some feedback to you when you input the first set of codes that it doesn't recognize. And so it is going to it's taking out one of your 2s. So I'm going to move it down here to our like dead dice. I'll just move all the dead dice down there. And I know it looks different on everybody else's. That's why I'm screen sharing, so that we have a shared imaginary space. And I'm going to put a hit on Dino. You were using your dig. So you are going to mark a hit on dig here. Now, the good news is that if you survive the conflict, the 1 level hits, you can shake one of them off, so it'll be okay. But yeah, that particular action that you initiated because you have no other pairs, I think that's not going well for you. Cool. Now you guys get to react because you have a 4x5, so you're the next to go. You want to try to knock out some of my matches, and you will narrate what you're doing that takes that action. So Sparkles, you drew help from Matavi. You get to narrate this first time through. What is Sparkles doing? Remember, it was a cool roll.
Right. So I'm taking my 5. I'll move it down here to knock out, and it has to be the lowest of one of your entries. So take out one of your 1s, right?
Yep.
Was it the highest?
Hold on. When a hit is scored, it removes a die from the shortest highest set on the target with the fewest sets. So shortest, highest, so the 2.
So it'd be the 2. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the PDF, so thank you, Andesh. This is helpful. But yeah, it's the shortest highest set. So it takes out the 2. What does that look like?
And I think this is while I think that an alarm goes off due to Dino's an alarm goes off due to Dino's infiltration, and it's just a little alarm, and it, like a little red light comes on, and the guard kind of leans over, looks at it for a second, and flicks it off, and it goes back off. However, during that little distraction is when Matavi steps in and slips a little key card out of their pocket and passes it to Sparkles.
Nice. Yeah.
Perfect. That's a great like short shot narration. I love it. So now we have a length of 3-5 and a length of 3-6, which means I go next, and I'm going to go to the next shortest or the fewest set. Sorry,
if I wanted, because can I roll in my dice now, or is it?
Yeah, you could do that. You want to narrate a trait and burn a trait, you get 2 more dice. You get right this minute if that's what you want.
Because this feels like it's kind of bad for us, so I think I want to use since I have slicing as a gimmick. I've used that.
Okay.
Yep. Cool.
So it's like I'm talking to myself. amateurs, this is old. What do you say? Old-fashioned tech.
Yeah.
I can beat this. So I'll take my dead die and the new die, and I'll roll those because I got 2 new die, right?
Yes, you get 2 brand new dice.
Cool. Roll those. I get a 1 and a 2. So
Oh,
well, I'm
cool.
back to having a single pair, but
No,
Yep.
it's okay.
nothing.
No, it's better.
You're back in the fight. You may have killed yourself though. That's awesome. Okay. So you
True.
call them a couple amateurs and you slight. It looks like you rolled one of the pips and one of the numbers. That's very funny. That amuses me. Good job. Now we go roll back around for the new set of conflicts. We're still in the same technical round of dice rolling. We're just sussing out. So this is no longer a pair, and I don't have the ability to buy anymore. So I'm just going to move it down here. It's effectively dead. But I do have this, which I'm going to use to again. I don't think I have a choice. Let me make sure.
No.
Yeah, longest highest set remaining is the next hit processed.
Oh
Which
no.
the owner selects a target and narrates. Let's see if the target has any sets. Let's remove 1 die from those sets. It doesn't say
select the
that. It doesn't
target.
appear to say. Sorry. Go ahead.
It says you select the target, right?
Yes, I'm just making sure that it isn't saying that I have to choose the weakest because I want to go after Sparkles, mostly to extend out our set. It's more narratively interesting to me if Sparkles takes a hit. So I think what happens here is Sparkles, again, Matavi has narrative immunity. You've got what is it? Plot immunity? Yeah, plot immunity. So I'm gonna direct it at Sparkles. Sparkles, you have this key card, and you start to move through. And I think there's a moment where one of the stormtroopers. I can't believe I'm about to mention the movie Barbed Wire from Ancient Ago with Pamela Anderson, but he has a data pad, and the stormtrooper holds it up, and it does, like, we see a little emitter beam come out, and it starts scanning across, looking for like checking you against the key card, and it looks like they have instituted a higher level of security than you may have anticipated. So you are going to take a hit to your you rolled cool, so I'm going to give you a hit to your cool, as there's no mechanical effects to that. That's just a setup to potentially be taken out of the conflict.
And I lose
yeah,
this 1, right?
You do. Yes, you lose that pair. So I'm going to move that down over here. So it's been knocked out to a singleton. It's effectively out of the conflict. So I've gone, and now 3x5 gets to go next. Sparkles or Steven, you get to declare whether Sparkles or Matavi, how you guys want to narrate taking your next action.
So I will do this, and I'm going to spend 1 of my 5s. And I think that takes out 1 of your 6s.
It does.
And I'm going to basically talk around him, telling him that talk around this officer who just scanned me.
Yeah.
and-
We should have a little narration for you to queue up
Yeah.
against it, right? He says,
Yeah. And I
hey,
think
this doesn't match up. Something looks weird here.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, you'll have to answer to your superior about why the shipment is late, because, this is the card that was given. And if you don't, just between us, I know what happens to your rank and file whenever they get hit like this. Right.
Cool. Nice. I like that. That sounds great.
And this is a little bit intimidation of, what's going to happen if he makes a call wrong by his superiors. Yeah.
So you do that, you take out the 6, my 6 becomes a singleton, and now we look and you get another go.
Yeah.
Because you still have the highest value of length 2.
And I think that I keep clicking on your shared screen to move my dice around, and it doesn't work that way. So I'm gonna use one of my 5s.
Take out my 1.
To take out one of your 1s and indicate, what is this? Oh, and I think this is where the officer says, nothing strange happened here. You're right. Let me clear out this, let me clear this out to make sure that they get exactly what they're looking for. And clears out the alert that Dino went through and,
Mhm.
just kind of resets the system, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It says, the A24s are a little twitchy. Our apologies, sir. Everything checks out on my end. That's fine. And you guys win the conflict. I have no more pairs or matches. So you win the conflict. Warning, you've won the conflict. Now I get to escalate. The next conflict you have will be 10 dice. But
And I want to point something out just mechanically. We only won the conflict because Anders burned a trait and rolled 2 more dice.
that's very true.
If we wanted to, at the end of this, we could then burn a trait and roll 2 more dice, trying to make sure that we stayed in. Is that right?
I'm sorry, what do you mean by trying to make sure you stay in?
Let's say,
stay
for
in the
example-
fight. Yes,
Yeah.
to bring yourself back. Yes, you can do that.
Mhm.
Until you take a second hit, you can burn traits at any point. Like if you're just sitting there with a bunch of singletons, you're like, crap, I didn't get any matches. I really want to throw in. You can burn a trait, roll more dice, and now you're in the fight. The only way you're
Perfect.
out of a conflict is if you take your second hit, or if you decide, or no, that's right, you move on at the end of that fight.
And you
But
can
if
choose
you're-
to take a hit for a teammate at any time.
Correct.
Oh, right. Can I choose to do that if I'm just helping? And can I burn trade to give
Yes,
somebody
you
else
could.
the
You could have
dice?
burned trait. Absolutely.
Okay.
You can burn trait and narrate
Okay.
in how you're throwing dice to another
Okay.
person.
Okay,
Yes.
and I could also take a hit for if
Exactly.
Dino
That's
had
a very
gotten the
good
second hit, I could have said, okay, you know what, I'm taking that, and then we'd have figured out in the narration how
Which
that would have looked, right? Yeah,
Which would have been
okay.
a good idea for us to
Yep.
take a hit on Dino's dig, because we have no dig. So we're not going to be rolling dig.
Yep.
So
that's a really good idea. Do
Yeah.
you want to? Do we want to roll back? It's a tutorial mission, so we could roll back, or we can continue.
I could do that actually because I have an idea for we'd have to roll back the narration too.
Yeah, we roll
but
back a little bit of narration. I'm open to
maybe
that. It's our tutorial round.
Yeah, so maybe it wasn't feedback that got Dino, but somebody who was like interfering with him,
Mhm.
right? Because of like, what are you doing here? And then Matavi showed up and was like taking over and, hey, is that the right way to the restroom? Actually, I'm a bit lost here. And then has to deal with this situation, which is kind of, yeah.
Okay, so you have taken the hit for cool by using your special ability that happens once per conflict.
For dig, right?
For
Because
dig. Yes.
yeah,
You take
okay.
a 1 level hit for dig, and we'll. Yeah, there we go. And took hit for Dino. Cool. Now,
So
Dino,
should
you should remove yours, yes.
Yeah, I should remove my.
correct. Okay. So you guys took a couple nervous moments where your character took a hit. Narratively, they were obstacles that you overcame, and you succeeded. Now, do the 3 of you go into one of the turbo lifts to head up, or once you've gotten past that first level security, is there another way you wish to go up to the penthouse?
Maybe just stick the turbo lift and use the shaft.
I agree.
Cool.
So, and Sparkle says they'll be watching the turbo lift. We need to go up a different way. This air shaft probably won't be watched. Let's go up it.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So, not going up the stairs, you're taking the turbo lift shaft itself, timing it just right so that the turbo lifts like zip past you and you're moving around and climbing. I think narratively and also looking at time, this works fine for me. You make your way up. Wow, this moved slower than I anticipated. You may now move all of your dice back to your regular places, and I need to pull in 2 more dice, so I'm doing that right now. And I realize that we are now pretty close to near end of session, in that we have like 45-ish minutes to go.
Richie
So-
set this for 3.5 hours.
Did I?
Yeah.
That would have been smart of me.
Yeah.
Did I actually think ahead that I would need a little extra time? Holy crap! Yay me! You guys are good to play for that time then? You didn't just, sign up for one of my games thinking it was 3 hours because it's always 3 hours? You guys are okay?
I did, but I checked and I saw and I'm okay.
Yep,
Okay.
same.
All right. Fantastic. I did a good thing. Awesome. Sweet. So this is the pause for any like cool flair or interesting bits of character interaction before we move to the next conflict.
How are you guys making your way up? I'm curious because I've got the jet boots, right? I'm not sharing, but I will help if one of you, I doubt that one of you is amateurish enough to fall or start falling, but so how are you getting up?
So I'm climbing up the shaft, and I think I have a like a harness underneath my vest, and that harness has clips. So I will pull myself up, clip, go up a couple more things, clip. So if I fall, if I slip down the shaft, I'll be sitting there hanging. And I think probably about halfway up is when I fall, and I'm hanging there. And you can see, I think there's actually a drop of sweat that the camera focuses on and drops down the shaft, and it goes all the way down and then splatters at the bottom. And then I kind of swing back and forth a little bit and grab back a hold of the shaft and start climbing back up.
I think
That's
Matavi
awesome.
skips up next to you and says, "You good?"
Good. No problem.
Yeah, that looked relaxing.
Yeah. It was real relaxing. Thanks.
So important to take breaks during those jobs.
Oil and water. You guys are not buddies. I love this. This amuses me. What about Dino? What do we see about how Dino traverses this obstacle?
I think I'm just climbing, but like the arm I pulled the data jack out of is a cyber arm. So at some point, I think I just lock the arm on and just hang there for a bit to rest a little. But it looks very like artificial, and it's obvious that it's mechanical at that point. But I don't have to like put any effort into holding my grip there, so I can kind of rest.
Nice. So the 3 of you make your way up the turbo lift shaft, occasionally dodging as more turbo lifts head up. I'm going to do a simple like pass fail skill here. Dino, I am not either a pass or fail. So this is a regular skill check.
Mhm.
You guys get up. The penthouse apartment does have a security system. The risk is if you fail, that they may be alerted to what you're about to do. As you get there, it's again got another little port and also a key card. But Sparkles, you're pretty sure that what Matavi snagged likely won't get you into this this door shaft. It's actually Rich will unhide a particular thing. There we go. If you take a look, there's a new tab available called Gov's Penthouse or Gov Penthouse. And that is the schematic. You're effectively in the middle there. You see the screen share. There's a black and white, which I think is a little clearer to read some of the text, but there are 4 elevator shafts here. You guys made your way up. We'll say it's like these elevator shafts. There's effectively a security area, like a force screen here. As you guys make your way up, and you see that you're going to need to hack your way through, you hear music being piped into this place. It's symphonic style music, and as you're moving up, you see this door opens up, and there's a person who's carrying a tray who just walks right by. The the intel that you received about the governor being alone was flawed, and it appears that there are people here. So go ahead and make that simple roll. You tell me what skill you want to bring to bear, and all you have to do is roll any kind of match, and you succeed without trouble.
Cool. Well, I'll go for dig since
Sure.
there's something I can slice there. Let me move these dice up here. 4 dice. Rolling them.
Boom, 2
6s.
sixes. Beautiful. Give us a quick narration as you bring down the security and you guys can enter the penthouse space.
I spot the person with the tray, and I just like back up against the wall, look around as well as I can through the force screen, pull out my data jack, plug it in, and just as I'm like taking down the screen, that's when I turn to tell the others, by the way, we're not alone here.
Nice. And when the force screen goes down, that's when, like, there was music here. There were speakers in this particular where the elevator shafts were. When the force screen goes down, you hear more ambient noise. You hear conversation, you hear a bit of laughter, you hear clinking of glasses. There's a carking party going on here. Remind me, Matavi, how are you dressed for this particular occasion?
I'm dressed cool. That's what I'm dressed like. I'm still dressed mainly like the street rat that I grew up as, but in the kind of that says this is the fashion street rat, right? This is a choice. This is not because I'm poor. This is because I want to look like this. And I have some bling hanging around my neck because I kind of think that's cool.
Oh, Sparkles, man, you definitely stick out like a sore thumb with a crazy tattoo and a surly attitude. I love it. Your death
Oh,
stick.
and I'm not dressed for a party. I'm dressed like in combat black spandex, gadget kind of things. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then what about
but black always party dress. You can always go to a party dressed in black.
what about Dino?
I'll
Is he
go
the
by
duster?
the picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. Fantastic. Okay. So the conflict here is to reach the governor and assassinate him. So I now will be rolling 10 dice. But first, let's ask what skill are each of you bringing to bear? Sparkles, what skill are you hoping to use?
I'm gonna
Remember,
use.
if you use cool, that means that cool is at risk for you to take a second hit and be taken out of the conflict. You don't have you choose if you want your character to die or not, but it does mean you'd be out of the conflict if you take another hit.
Well, I'm gonna use kill. Yeah,
Nice.
because that's what we're
Okay.
doing. Yeah.
And then Matavi, what skill are you hoping to use?
I'm using cool because we were going sliding through a party, and I mean, you're cool enough, they won't even question you.
And then Dino, what skill are you bringing to bear?
I'll go with terror. I'm just
Yeah.
going to cart poodoo up, I guess.
I love it. Excellent. So then, Andesh, I'll ask you: do you want to bid for teamwork? Are you going to ask for help from Matavi or Sparkles?
No, they are like Sparkles has 5 dice in kill, and Matavi has 0 dice in terror. So I don't think asking for help would be
Okay.
useful.
Then Matavi, are you bidding for teamwork? Are you asking for help from either?
Yeah, I would ask for help from Sparkles because That seems like I mean, I'm getting us there, and you take the shot.
Okay.
That
So then
seems-
Matavi is asking for Sparkles to help, and now I'll go to Steven. Is Sparkles asking for help or bidding for any teamwork?
Okay. Yes, I'm going to ask for help from Dino
Okay.
because I want. Yes. This is simply so I can get in. You know, I can get cover until I can get the shot.
Okay. So we'll circle back to Undesh. Will Dino give up his terror and an action and help Sparkles? Or do you want to say Kark that?
Would he have to give up his kill?
He gives up any action. He's just helping.
Yeah. So I would not be rolling my terror, but he would be getting my 2 kill back, right?
Correct.
I'm gonna say Kark that.
No, wait. You would not
He
be rolling
screwed-
terror. Yes, that's exactly what
Yeah.
you said. Yes.
He screwed me out of my payday. That's why I have to be on this stupid job. I'm at least going to scare some people, so I get to enjoy myself.
Okay. Then by saying Kark that, Dino, you're going to be rolling your terror plus 2 dice. And at current, Stephen, if you do nothing to pull from the teamwork pool, you will be rolling kill with 3 dice instead of 5.
Mhm.
Okay. So, but let's resolve the other thing, which is where Matavi, you had asked for help from
Yep.
Sparkles.
Yep.
Steven, does Sparkles help out Matavi, or do you say Kark that?
And you'd be asking for help in which skill?
Cool.
Cool. And if I say yes, I'm out of the round. I'm going to
Yeah.
say no. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
You wouldn't get any hits though on your.
That's
cool.
true.
Yeah.
And that seems. I think it's probably a better choice than you going for kill with 3 dice. Just saying.
I know.
Okay.
I'm going to say no.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm pulling 2 dice from your cool, right? Or from your kill, right?
Yeah.
No,
Hold on.
the
The
other
person
way
who
around.
asks
No,
for
the other
help
way
when
around.
they're
Okay,
yeah, the other way
okay.
around.
Yeah, okay.
So
So then I get 2 dice from Matavi.
Oh,
yes,
Okay.
you get 2 dice from Matavi. And that means that you were at kill at 3. Now you're at kill at 3 plus 2 dice that you took from Matavi.
Right.
However, now we circle back. Matavi, you asked for help and were denied. You can take as many dice as you want from the teamwork pool.
How many dice are in the teamwork pool?
15.
I wait. I think Dino pulled some from the teamwork pool, didn't he?
No.
he didn't. No.
I think that, and this is the reason I said no is because I wanted to see how this worked mechanically, because we both were denied. We both pull from the teamwork pool.
Yes.
Why wouldn't Matavi pull 15 and leave me with none?
You could.
Or who goes
Uh-huh.
first, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. How did we determine who goes first?
I think you were going in reverse character keeper order.
I was.
But
So I think
we'll just stick with
Matavi
that?
would choose voice first.
Okay.
I
That's
asked first, so I pick first, right?
Yes.
I'm not.
A player
gonna,
who's been rejected may choose to take dice. So
I'm not going to take 15 dice because I don't want to fail the mission. But I am a little peeved. I will take 5 because
Okay.
you know.
So Matavi now is rolling with a cool of 3 plus 5 more. So you're rolling 8 dice.
Mhm.
Now we go to see Dino. You had asked for help, which means that Sparkles you
Dino
denied
did
it.
not.
Sorry.
Yeah, the
So-
way around.
Yeah. Okay. Sparkles had asked for help from Dino and was denied. Therefore, Sparkles, you can pull from the teamwork pool.
And is there anything afterward that pulls from the teamwork pool? Seems like we did something.
There's only one other thing, which is if somebody does something cool, the fan mail rule is in effect.
Okay.
You can grab from the teamwork pool and say, "Oh man, take a teamwork." Otherwise, no. For this entire round of the conflict,
Yeah.
there will be no more teamwork pools other than that fan mail assignment.
So
And
I'm
don't be
going
cheeky.
to take 8 dice.
Oh, but by the way,
Okay.
this lasts for the mission, unless someone dies.
Yes,
So,
but
okay,
I know what time
awesome.
it is,
This
right?
is
Oh
important.
no. Well, wait. We're going for another hour.
Yeah, we're going for another hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, I'll just take 5 dice. I was like, oh, we only have 20 minutes left. I'm going to take everything I can and leave a couple for fan mail, but I'll take 5.
That means
That
you're
seems
rolling a
reasonable.
total of 10.
Right.
Okay. And then Dino, you're rolling
I'm even
your
with you.
regular terror. So we got 8, 10, and 5. You guys are really set up for success here. This is exciting as all get out. What even is that? Okay, that's weird. I have to
rolling
show you guys
7
this.
since I took 2 from
Yes.
Sparkles for deny. Right?
So these 2 dice landed on top of each other. I have to show it. If I highlight, but look, it looks like a 7. Boop, 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 boop. Sorry. I saw that and it blew my mind. Okay. So we've got a bunch of dice hitting the table. I'm going to re-roll my 10 dice now.
Oh gosh, I thought that was your roll.
Nope, not yet.
I'm rolling mine as well.
Woof. Not great.
Oof.
I'm going to roll mine.
So bad.
I'm gonna roll mine now. Okay. Yeah, that's
All right, let's
Uh,
move them into sets. I think you guys are, this governor's.
I'm going to roll in my explosive cyber eye right away here, because I need more dice. Or do I? Yeah, I'm gonna use it. I'm not gonna use it any other time. So I will add 2 more dice. I will add them and then I will reroll.
Ooh.
You know, with
Do we have 2 3x5s? That's awesome. You got a 4x3. Holy crap. Matavi is on point, y'all. Uh-oh. That's why Sabine wasn't gloating. I was like, wait, it just complimented Sabine. I would wait for some, like, all right, it's all good. Again, when they get back, but yeah, Matavi will go first. This is not going to go well for me.
I don't know. The dice mechanics are super interesting because, like in the last conflict, I didn't expect to go out of order, and it seemed kind of weird. Yeah, it's super weird.
I am screwed because y'all are going to go tink, which means you can go tink, or with that go tink, and then I'm down to just pairs, and you guys have 3s enough to. Oh, I think this is a cakewalk.
So the 4x3,
Yep.
it goes first.
Yep.
And then it would be the 2 3x5s.
Yep.
And which of those would go first?
You guys get to choose.
Okay.
We'll give just a moment. I'm going to stop sharing them.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
gonna
was
pause
kind
the
of
recording too.
chit-chatting about mechanics.
All right, we're back after a brief internet loss. We were just off cam as we were waiting for Sabine to be able to rejoin, talking through, and I think once fluency in this game happens, these conflicts will go faster, and they definitely are built to go faster at a table, right? If we had physical ass dice, it'd be way faster. But I think we're already pretty far along. As you can tell, things are not going to go well for the Imperials. So the first, because of the excellent role of Matavi, the first in order would be Matavi. So Matavi, tell us a bit about how you were using Cool, if I remember correctly. So this place, as you guys enter the penthouse.
on one of your ones, right? Your pair.
Oh,
Is that correct,
you
or-
cut out for a second. I just want to set the scene. When you guys move out, this is a dinner party or like a cocktail party. There are a lot of people around. They're all in fancy clothing. There's a nice bit of music that's being played live here. And so, Matavi, you get to take the first action with your 3. What does that look like? And yeah, you would take out the highest value length, so you'd be knocking out my 4. Oh, it looks like Sabine's having some trouble with phone. How much can you hear us, Sabine?
I hear intermittently. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do we want to hang tight
Oh,
for a few more minutes for your
Give me
router?
a sec. No, my router has understood what its job is now. It's fine. I should be good.
Excellent. Okay.
So
you get the first action, and you would take out the highest value, longest length that I have, which would be the 3x4,
okay.
with a bit of narration.
Oh, that's cool. That is very cool. Go away, you 4. Okay, so I think what happens here is that there is a very understated, but clearly not totally incompetent person approaching the group, right? Because, or maybe, no, wait a second. No, I think what Matavi is doing is he's
Grab us an NPC if you
walking.
want. We've got so many.
Oh, no, I think he's just walking in. Like,
Okay.
here I am. Look at me. Don't look at the other guys. Look at me. I'm here, and I'm here because I'm the speed racer champion of the great circular races. Who you should know. If you don't, you're a chum. And you're all very welcome to admire us. And one of the security officers is like, what the frick is that?
Yeah, there are no stormtroopers up here. There are a few. There are a few security personnel, and yeah, they're definitely not sure how to take that. Excellent, Matavi. That is very cool. Okay, so now we look next. It will be either Sparkles or Matavi because you have the next highest value length of 3. Are we okay if Sparkles goes next, Sabine?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
So, Sparkles steps out.
Sorry.
No.
Which die did you remove from yours, Rich?
The 4.
Couldn't you remove one from your shortest highest? Sorry.
Is it the other way around? Okay, hold on. Let's see.
That's how I thought it worked. But
Yeah,
when a hit is score,
sure.
no, it's a great point. Let's.
Okay.
Okay, it removes a die from
yeah.
the shortest highest set on the target with the fewest sets.
Yeah, so it should be the 1.
Okay.
That was mine. I directed Sabine incorrectly. I apologize. So you're taking out this instead.
No. It would be the 1, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Awesome. I get more turns. I might have a chance to do something. Probably not, but maybe. Oh, well, this is a singleton then. It just goes down here. Okay. Thank you for that, Undesh. I appreciate helping get it clear. Now, Sparkles, you rolled kill dice here. A ton of them.
Yeah.
What do you do?
So if I understood what just happened is kind of a nondescript guard stepped up in front of us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sparkles slips on sort of like a black hockey mask looking thing to disguise themselves. Steps out from the darkness and pulls out the 2 pistols and shoots the guard that just walked up, screaming everywhere, mayhem, and I will take out. I think I take out your 4 now. Is that right?
No. If the hit is scored, it removes the die from the. It is the shortest, highest set on the target with the fewest sets. So this one, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm screwed. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wicked. Yeah, people start screaming while Sparkles has no compunction about taking mugs out. This is great. Matavi, your very cool cover isn't blown, but like people don't necessarily care about the cool speed racer now.
And that's great. That's still great because nobody gets questioning me now. So I need to take out the next 4, right? Because that's the shortest, highest.
Exactly. It is.
Okay, there we go. And what I'm doing is I'll add to the screaming. I say, there's an assassin. I'm going to protect the governor. And I'm moving up to the governor.
Oh, that's clever. That's really
Yeah.
clever. I love that. So the shortest highest, that means that this 4 goes away, and
Yep.
then now that's down to a singleton, and I
Yep.
only have this left.
Yep, and that is
Cool. And I think Matavi, you see that the governor is like he's out on the balcony, and we'll say that the governor is hanging out with assistant director Lama Tall, and the two of them are chatting intimately when all this craziness goes out, and one of the security guards starts to move over, and but you, Matavi, are able to make your way out onto the balcony with them. And now we go to the next highest set, which happens to be
and
Matavi
Dino.
again.
Dino has the same, so Dino go first.
Let Dino go? All right.
If you wanna.
Yeah. Since I rolled in my explosive cyber eye, that's what I'm going to use. I like pop out my eyeball and like turn it and just throw it away into a corner where there's a bunch of people, and it explodes.
Mayhem. Okay, so we'll move that 3 over here to the spent dice. And that takes my 3x2 down to a 2x2, a pitiful 2x2. Now, Matavi, this will end the conflict.
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Oh, looks like Governor. I'm going to get you out of here. I'm going up to the Governor. I have my 0 boots, right? So I grab the Governor, like I'm taking him to safety, fly away, and then I drop him.
Do you even try to make it look like you accidentally dropped him?
No, I mean, I'll tell him to, you know what, I've got another appointment, Governor, I'm sorry, Karku. And then I push him away, and I make sure that I see where he's at, so.
He screams, hold on, please pause for a moment. Everyone, please pause. I have an opportunity for a thing, and I must do the thing, so give me just a moment to make sure that thing happens. Did that come through?
I don't think it did.
It came through.
He screamed twice.
On his way down then. We looped it. Yes, he screams on his way down. We see him. It's a little bit of the like the Die Hard Hans Gruber falling for an extreme amount of time, and then he slams into one of the statues that people were parading around for a local neighborhood. He just destroys it. And he, of course, is destroyed. People looking up like, oh my goodness. Oh goodness. I hope that wasn't anybody important. Sweet. Quick narration. You've won the conflict. I think some blasters are coming out and you'll be fired upon. Sparkles you wanted to kill. So, I mean, it's actually, just narrate. How does that look? Man, I got host on this whole fight.
Yeah, so I think that, okay. I'm making some assumptions here, so I'm not going to narrate us getting out. So I'm just going to narrate, Sparkles just starts laying down fire to kind of, clear the area for themselves and for Dino. So, like a barricade kind of area.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this is exit the scene at this point. I was gonna you guys can exit this building if you want, because I wanted to set up for us going after secondary objective. So
perfect.
Be cool.
Oh yeah.
Do as much as you want.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe the next scene would be us trying to get out of the building. But in that case, I think that covering fire and I think I tell Dino, Matavi's gone. We need to get out of here. Do you have your own way out?
You don't need to worry about me. I'll make my way.
Yeah, good. And I think I clip that protector, that cable onto the side of the balcony and just stream down a certain distance and then blast my way into that through that window and then swing in and then do it again. And I'm like leapfrogging down the building.
That's freaking awesome. Matavi's got jet boots, so that's good. How does Dino get out of Dodge?
Like the spy droid has been here the whole time. It just
Of
hasn't been
course.
doing anything. I take it. I grab it and I kind of twist it and then attach it to my back and hook it up and use it kind of like a hover pack to like glide down. It's not a full-on jetpack, but it can keep me from falling to my death.
Nice.
It's a Star Wars feather fall, I guess.
Yes. That is awesome. Yeah, so exciting music, John Williams style, and all three of you are able to escape as stormtroopers are coming up the turbo lifts, and some of those Imperial droids are hovering around trying to catch pictures and see who is involved in killing the governor. And oh man, do not forget that you can bring up that complication, but you don't have to. It's the reward for it is bringing a different character in. So maybe that doesn't incentivize us as much as I had originally thought, but it is a neat idea.
Can I use one of the teamwork pool to give a fan mail to whoever opened fire in the middle of the party, because that was freaking cool.
Yeah, that would be a Sparkles, and that's delightful. I'm into it. Okay, so your teamwork pool goes down to a 4, and Sparkles, you have an extra teamwork whenever you want to apply it.
Got it. Thank you.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna steal that fan mail thing you made and copy that over.
So I noticed during that last negotiation where we were trying to figure out what our dice pools were, I was losing track of how many dice I had and what other people were doing. So I actually just started to write down in like one of the empty spaces. It was like, okay, I have 5 dice. Now I have 3 dice. Now I have 5. Now I'm taking up 5 more, and trying to figure out what that negotiation was.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good point.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this is one of those where if you put your dice out on a table and move them around, it's easier. And because we're doing it virtual, it becomes a little more challenging. But I think that's a good solution. I mean, think about how to implement that in the keeper. Excellent. So you now a bit of free play. Your next objective is to take out or disable the comm dampening array in the Argos orbital space station so that the New Republic forces, I don't know why I said rebel. What the hell am I thinking? Cool. So, how do you guys imagine that you will be taking out a space station?
Do we have to take up the entire space station, or do we have to take up the Criffing array?
The Criffing array is how you do it, but it is warehoused on the Argos space station.
And I think Sparkles is like, well, we should just blow the whole thing up. I mean, we don't want them to repair it at any point. And of course, we just assassinated the governor in the middle of a party. We can do anything.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, I think we should maybe get us some of these shiny little TIE fighters and crash them into the station. Not while we're in them, but
So you guys are having this conversation, and martial law has been instituted in Iva City at this point. There are ATSTs that are walking the streets. You hear squadrons of TIE fighters screaming overhead. The festival, there are people who are fighting back and talking about trying to suppress the festival. Matavi, your old team, they've been trying to contact you.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I could just say, hey, Matavi's going out to be with them, and I make another character, right?
You could if you want to. Yeah, that's how it works. If you say my character's gonna move on.
Yep.
then you would actually let me double check. I want to do it by the
Okay.
rules. Okay, so
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
double check. Okay.
Just
Moving on. Let's see. Complications, flavor text, If you move on, you need to
if
work
this
on your
is
complications.
too complicated, I will just not do it. But I
Oh, no,
actually like it because I have a backup character already prepared.
Second stage of no ages left. Good. All right. At the end of a conflict, if you have 2 hits in anyone's skill, you can choose to move on. So yeah, you have to actually take some hits.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Dang.
So I
what did
can
we-
just follow my complication. So what are they? What's that offer good for then?
if you've introduced the complication at any point,
Mhm.
then when you take a second hit, you
Ah.
can move on at the end of that
Okay.
conflict.
Oh, okay, but only that. Okay, then I'm not moving on.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah. Sorry.
Looking forward to that other character.
All right. So the plan then is to steal some TIE fighters and fly them into the orbital space station. Is that right?
We need to get out of them at one point, but we can get evac suits.
Yeah, I was curious about that part of the
Yeah,
part
I
of the
got
plan.
evac suits. Well, I think we get 2 TIE fighters, two evac suits. 2 of us kind of fly them into the station, and the third person gathers the rest up and takes care of all the other pesky TIE fighters that might try to shoot the people in the evac suit.
So I think the mission here is going to be stealing the TIE fighters. And I volunteer you, Matave, since you have boots, to bail. And I volunteer you, Dino, to use your droids to fly the second TIE fighter. And I think that's easy peasy. I think the difficult part is going to be stealing the TIE fighters.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, not very difficult, but yeah.
Okay, so we already have defined in Rasu, because of the hard work of Anesh that I just stole, we have spaceship dry docks and tie hangers at the garrison, high security. So it turns out that by doing that, I'm gonna make this a conflict with my 12 dice. All right, let's walk it through again. I'm excited. I feel like we're starting to develop a little bit of fluency. Cool. So, I'm going to ask Dino, what skill are you using for this conflict? Maybe again, high security. There are checkpoints. You're trying to steal a TIE fighter. I'm imagining that they are irregular ties, not tie advanced. They're standing up in rows. It's a spaceport. There are several hangars and construction areas where people, when they make new TIE fighters, they'll like wheel them out. A lot of activity. So, all right, Dino, what skill do you want to bring?
Well, I didn't take a hit to terror, which is my highest skill, so I'm going to continue using that. And this is just basically walking through security, just shooting people.
Oh my God,
it's just being a scary ass mother Parker.
I love it. Okay, what about Matavi? What skill are you bringing to bear?
Well, if we are not doing stealth, then
we're not.
We're not. It's fine. I love it. If we're not doing stealth, I'm just using cool. I'm just walking behind him and taking the stuff that we need to get to the TIE fighters, and maybe shooting someone once in a while.
Sparkles, what are you using?
So I think I'm going to add a little bit of a scene to this. I think Sparkles is using kill, right? But Sparkles, as I got down to the bottom and as we're talking, my complication is I'm addicted to stims. So I think while I got to the bottom, I hit myself with that last stim, and that's why I'm so cocky about oh, this is going to go fine. We can just blow up the station and it'll be okay. So I'm just going to go in and kill everybody. I mean, you kill them, they can't shoot back.
It's true. Awesome. Sparkles, are you asking for help from anyone?
Oh, I should do that. Let's see. I asked for help last time, I think, from Dino. So I think this time I will ask for help from Matave.
Okay, pause. We don't answer that. We go for the help.
Mhm.
So, Matavi, are you bidding for teamwork? And if so, from whom?
Nah, I can be cool on my own. I mean, these people are helping me anyway by being bad as my characters. So, nah.
Dino, are you bidding for teamwork? And if so, from whom?
Well, this is most likely our last conflict. So I think from a purely tactical perspective, I should ask for help.
Okay.
So that's Sparkles, because I'm going to ask Sparkles for help, so that they can say no. And yeah.
Okay. Sparkles, do you want to help Dino with his terror action and give all your terror dice to him?
Yes.
Well, that's unexpected and
Yeah.
delightful. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Matavi, do you agree to help Sparkles, who is helping Dino? So you would be giving, right?
Don't worry. I'm not gonna. So
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
And I
Which-
take the.
Which means
Right.
you're going to take dice from Sparkles.
Yep.
You're gonna take-
So just to make sure I have this straight, Sparkles gave 2 dice to Dino for helping. Oh, and
No,
that means I
no,
can't
no.
do anything.
Hold on. Yeah, you give all your dice.
Oh, then I can't do that. I'm not.
You give me all your terror dice.
Okay,
But you
so let's roll
don't-
that back. I'm gonna say no,
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
which
You'll
means
say no.
Dino takes 2 dice from me.
No,
Yes.
you take 2 dice from me.
Who asked for the help? Hold on.
I asked for help, and you said no.
Which
Okay.
means Dino asked for help, and Dino's the weakest, so Sparkles takes 2 dice. Exactly like Under said. I'm just
Good.
trying to-
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I think this
Okay.
is like I'm telling you to. Yeah, I'm just gonna charge in. You give me cover fire from up there, and you just no. I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
So I look
Yeah.
weak.
And that means that you get first chance at the team pool.
Mm-hmm.
Dino, yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Do you want, how much do you want to take
Yep.
from the team pool?
And then
I'm
Matave
gonna
is
take.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
I'm gonna take all of it if I
Yeah.
can.
You should.
Okay. So you get 4. And then
Matave
Matave
didn't ask for help,
didn't ask for help.
and
And
I
then-
asked for help from Matave.
So Matave, are you helping Sparkles kill a lot?
No.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm
So-
taking 2 dice from them.
Yep.
Right.
You're taking 2 dice from Sparkles.
So I'm back to my normal.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's
Okay.
no teamwork pool to pull from. So
That is right.
Okay.
Awesome.
amazing. All right. That means Dino is rolling terror of 5 plus 4 more dice. You're rolling 9 dice. Matave is rolling cool of 5 dice, and Sparkles is rolling 5 dice. Does that sound right to everybody?
Can I already roll in some of my traits?
Sure.
I will.
Anytime you want.
I will roll in once the sticky fingers because I know this. I know this area, right? I was there before. I've been there before. I've pulled heists here before, so it's fine. I know all of the situations. I'm taking
Sounds
another
awesome.
die.
Oh, you guys are in trouble.
Oh no, my dice are gone. My die card is gone.
You guys are in trouble.
I'm also going to pull in a trait. And I'm going to pull in a flashback. And the trait I'm pulling in is the scar on my forehead, just because I want it on screen.
Yes.
I used to
Yeah.
be a trooper and had like a stormtrooper, like let's say it's a death trooper helmet, right? And when you see me on the ground with a split helmet where I've been shot and left for dead. And then fast forward in the flashback, and I'm in a tattoo parlor, and I have scars on my forehead and on my face, and they're tattooing like a little star pattern and everything to cover up the scars.
Oh, that's wicked.
Yeah, so I'm gonna roll 2 more dice.
Nice.
Oh, Rich, was that your role? What I see on the
Yes.
screen? Oh no.
Yeah,
There's no
y'all in
card. We're
trouble.
carked. I'm gonna roll mine now. No, that's not great.
So I have 7 dice, right? I started at 5. Sparkles took
Yes.
2. I took 4 from the team pool. I'm going to roll in a trait here. I added a blaster, a second blaster, another blaster, 1 more blaster as a trait. So I'm going to roll
One
that.
more blaster.
That's a great
I'm
trait.
adding 2 more dice, which I'm going to re-roll with all of them. Variable. Great.
Okay. Everybody's rolled and got your stuff organized, it looks like. Some pitiful dice, friends.
I think I'm gonna roll 2 more dice because I remember, I remember that time when I crashed into a barrier of Imperials and lost my antenna, and that kind of reminds me of this here. Because there is kind of the similar situation. There's a barricade somewhere, we have to go through it. So I'm rolling 2 more dice because this is too pitiful, and I'm not rolling. These are not counting as rolled. I will roll them now.
Cool.
Even though that would have been good, but well. It's okay. It gives me another pair and a sweet sun. Cool. Thank you. Sorry. Done.
Oh man, this is gonna be awesome. I'm excited for this. Remember, I'm a fan of you guys, but less so your characters because you're all bad people. Okay, it's totally different. It's totally different. All right, here we go. We're gonna share screens and roll through this. I do have a picture that maybe like give us a little bit of. It's not a map of any kind, but I think just for some flavor. It's also on the bay. It pollutes the waters because Imperials, they're bastards. And you can see here, this is where we have rows of TIE fighters. The plan was for you guys to just roll in all full of stuff and anger, but the Imperials were ready for you. And I'm going to take the first action. So I go, again, reminding myself here by going back to the PDF. When a hit is scored, it removes a die from the shortest, highest set on the target with fewest stats. And I get to determine who the target is. Now, we have just pairs here. We have a 3B and some pairs here and a couple extra sets. We have a 3B here. But if I go for this, then all I get is that. If I go for this, all I get is that. If I go for this, I get that. Right? Because I take off the highest.
No. Highest, shortest. So for me, you'd pick up my 6.
Yeah, I like that. Cool. So what we have is Dino, Matavi, and Sparkles. You guys are coming into the shipyard, and there's a squad of stormtroopers. One of them just recognizes you guys. Perhaps they got some footage from the governor's party, and I'm going after Dino's 6 to make it into a singlet, and they fire on you. Does that mean you take a hit? Hold on. Okay, so the singleton remains in play. Losing a dice may force to reorder your sets. No sets, then you get an effect. Okay, as long as you have sets, you're good. So, yeah, they fire on you. Pew pew. We hear a shot ring, and then we move to the next, which would be the 4x5, right? So I'm gonna pick on you, Dino, and take out your 5er set with my next highest, as they fire a couple more times. And I think
Then-
you're having to take cover.
I'm going to roll, because I have the more trait, I'm going to roll in my spy droid, which I haven't used.
Okay.
So I think I think I'm pulling one of my many blasters and tossing it to the spy droid, and it has sort of an attachment. Or actually, I'm pulling the spy droid down, attaching my blaster, and sending it up again. So it's just firing wildly.
That's great.
So I'll take my 2 spent dice and re-roll those.
Okay.
See those 2.
Remember what your 2 spent dice were, because they could pair up with those.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, can they?
They can.
Spent dice can pair up with anything, right? They're out of the game.
Oh.
They're
Okay.
gone.
No, not
spent dice are. Yes.
And
Yeah.
those were spent
The
dice.
spent dice.
Okay.
Those were
Spent
spent dice.
They
so
were
we're
not
good, yeah.
unmatched dice. They were
Singletons can be rematched.
Yeah,
Spent
yeah.
dice are gone. So you
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, what Endish did it works fine.
Cool. So I
Okay,
paired
that
up
works
with
out
that was
really
my
well
other-
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
bought
had
you-
all the numbers. It
Yeah.
was inevitable that I would match something.
Mhm.
It's just it didn't match up the best way because the longer chains are stronger, but
Yeah, but,
at least I'm
it-
alive.
And you have 2, so
Yep. Oh, that sucks. I thought I was going to get a hit on you, but it looks like maybe not. So I'm going to switch tactics.
Don't you
because-
take a hit whenever you are targeted?
Oh,
Only
that was a
you
great
don't-
question that I just settled out. So,
Okay.
a set with 2. So, losing a die may force the player to reorder your sets. If a target has no sets, you get an effect determined by the skill the attacker is using. Narrate the result.
Okay.
So, if you have sets, you're fine. It's effectively armor. It's not until you're out of sets that you will start taking
Okay.
damage. But great question. I just read it. It's the only reason okay. Cool. Now that you've burned that trait, I think Dino, you buy a little bit of cover, and instead I'm going to switch over and go after Sparkles. By the way, these are not rolled dice here, correct, Stephen?
No, they are not rolled dice. They are
I
out.
figured. Okay, they're out. I'm going to go after this set, right? Because I have to go
Okay.
the lowest,
Mhm.
highest value, and take this one out, which means that it knocks you down to just 1 singleton. And
Yep.
I think what that looks like, Sparkles, is that an ATST turns and fires at the 3 of you, but it's nearest you. And you don't actually take a hit, but it's enough to make you realize, maybe they have more to bear than I originally expected.
In my mind,
now-
I see an explosion, and I go flying from that explosion.
Yes, good. I didn't want to play too hard, but I think I should. Yes, you go flying from the explosion. We have some dramatic blood spatters on the side of your neck. It looks bad. Now, how do we order the order
Well,
when
we
we have
have-
ties?
I don't know. Before we just
I think players go first.
think you said something like that. Yeah.
Long's highest value. Play in a tie. Players go first. So yeah.
Okay.
We're now down to the highest is a 3x5, and Matavi, you have a 3x5. Player goes first. What do you
Okay.
wish to do?
I need to take out the 1, right? Or one of
Correct.
your 1. Okay, then I will do that. Go away. And what this looks like is that Matavi is still pretty much unharmed and unshot and on everything because he's just too cool apparently. He take a mouse droid, puts a grenade on it, like one of these little blinky things, and just sends it over into the mass of people shooting at us, and where it blows up. So
Awesome. Yeah, there is an explosion and several explosions. Several of the stormtroopers are thrown. They're dead because they're stormtroopers, so they go down. And things are getting a little wild now. So you went first, which means I get to go next. And
I would like to interrupt for a second. I'm going to, since things are going poorly, I'm going to spend a couple of my traits. And that's when the second blaster comes out and the third arm comes out. And I'm going to re-roll these 4 dice. Oops. And I can't select your dice, right? The ones on your sharing screen.
You cannot. As much as you try.
I keep trying.
Ooh, wow, that 3 just became super powerful.
Huh.
look
6
at
by
that.
3? Holy crap. Yeah, Sparkles, you just took over the initiative by pulling out a bunch of
guns.
And
I think this is, so basically I've been blasted and thrown on the ground, and I'm like, cark this, and I pull out my other gun, and then my other gun, and I'm going to start blasting. And I think I'm putting myself between the troops and the AT-AT, so that they have to shoot kind of through their own troops. So I will spend my 3. And of course I'm laying down fire. I spend my 3 and take away one of your 4s, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then I still have narration rights.
The shortest, highest set. Hold on. Wait. Okay, when a hit is scored, it removes a die from the shortest, highest set on the target, which would be the shortest, highest. So it would be my 5.
Oh, it'd be your 5. Okay.
Yep. I agreed to it
Sorry
without
about
thinking.
that.
It is actually the 5.
Yep. And then I think that while that's going on, I'm going to continue to lay down covering fire with my other 3, which the covering fire is to get Matave and Dino freed up so that they can attack. And I think that takes out the 5. Yeah.
Dang.
You still have narration rights. You're just.
I do?
Yeah, you've got 4 3s, and Rich only has 3. You're gonna take this down now.
Yeah. So let's see. And the third one is going to be since I have narration rights, I'm going to. Holy crap! Okay, since I have narration rights, I think that I didn't do this. I didn't take this trait, but I think I'm going to take one of the guns, set it on overload, and throw it using my sharpshooter skills through like the little slit that the AT-ATs have, and then it explode inside the cabin.
Yes, that's amazing.
And do I still have narration rights?
Yeah, because you're 3 by 3, and I've only got a 2 by 4 now. Yeah,
So this takes it out.
Yeah, it takes it out. That will end the conflict. What does that look like?
Wow, that is crazy.
It is wild.
That is. During debrief, I'm going to bookmark. That is weird that I was able to reroll dice in the middle and take over complete narration rights from everyone.
Yeah, you stole the show.
Okay,
you did the cool, amazing. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think this last die is exactly like what we planned. This is where I lay down covering fire. Dino can get up to a TIE fighter and put one of his droids in, and Matavi can hop into the other TIE fighter and they can take off as I pull back.
Wow. Now, we got 15 minutes left. My next conflict, I would have 14 dice. Do we feel like we have enough fluency to get through this final conflict, or do we move to epilogues? I'm completely putting it out for discussion.
I think we'd be correct if we went into a conflict now, and also it would take a while, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That many dice, I think it would as well.
I'd kind of like to see a cart situation where we are messed up now, and we aren't going to be able to pull in extra dice. I'd like to see that. However, I don't think we have the time for it.
Right, and we
Yeah.
don't have team pool to draw from anyway.
This would be the desperate situation.
Yeah.
This
I think we were. I mean, we were kind of banking on the last time when we pulled from the team pool that this would be the last time because you said so.
Sure, that's true. You might have made a slightly different although the thing is, like at the beginning of the conflict, if somebody or at the end of well, that's the thing, you have to take 2 hits. So you could very well just be carked. Oh, that's super interesting. Okay. All right, cool. So let's do a brief bit of if you guys are comfortable with it. I think taking out the comm array isn't a mission, an objective that you succeed at. Are we all good? Like you probably would, but you'd lose a few characters. But let's have a brief bit of epilogues here about the what shakes out, and then we'll move to a bit of like stars and then thoughts, because wishes can't be granted really in a one shot. So, Stephen, was a brief bit of any epilogue in mind that you have for Sparkles?
I think we see Sparkles probably came out of that, and I think has new scars. And we see Sparkles at the tattoo parlor getting new scars, or getting new tattoos to cover up those scars.
Nice.
Oh,
Sad.
I think Sparkles had probably a Republic symbol kind of tattooed at some point over one of the scars, and I think a new scar now gets like one of the New Order tattoos, right? Either side.
Cool.
Yep.
Sabine, what about for Matavi?
I think, come on. I think you see him in a TIE fighter racing towards that station, and there is heavy resistance, and his TIE is carked, and he can't, if he goes out, he's good. Just he knows that. So he just shrugs, touches the stub of his antenna, and says "cark it," and punches the gas, and just, I mean, it doesn't take out the station, but it does some major damage. So.
Yeah. Wow. Wait, does he like kamikaze in on the station?
I mean, he can. Well, how would you get out of that? I mean, we don't see a dead body, is what I'm saying
Exactly.
here.
We never see a dead body. I love it. That's amazing. What about Dino? Dino's Smart, the guy that I was gunning for.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because he took off in the other TIE fighter, and after Matavi smashes Matavi's TIE fighter smashes into it, I think we see Dino's TIE fighter is right behind it and hits like a different part and explodes. But then we zoom out, and Dino is in his vac suit, like hanging in space now. Who knows how he'll get out of that? But he's not dead.
Awesome. Those are very fitting dark narrative, and good job, everyone. Cool. So that will bring our Hollowpoint one shot to a close for the actual gameplay. Let's take a moment or two and throw out some stars. I'll throw out the first one. I'll just selfishly do that as a GM. Sabine, thank you for bringing Matavi back. It was really nice that I pulled Rasu and that you pulled the Matavi. It gave me some good No Moth's Galaxy vibes. I appreciate that. And just thank you for doing all the hard work for me. I really enjoyed being able to steal from you, and that made me happy because there was so much cool Rasu stuff that was there to play with, and all I had to do was murder a governor with your PCs. So easy stuff. Steven, thank you for diving into doing the weird bits of this system so we got to see it in play. I really appreciate it. The only wish I had is I wish we could have seen a character move on, but the specific rules of it are interesting. Like, it's hard to get there, especially with the crap way that I rolled. Although I thought that last conflict I had somebody, but then someone had to burn a bunch of traits. And wow. All right, cool. Those are all my stars. Who'd like to go next with stars?
I can do that. Stars to this game. I think it was cooler than Andor. At least it was cooler in a different way than Andor, and it had more action. So I'm gonna say that for it. And other stars, yeah, stars to you, Rich, for bringing this up because it was a good match. I think from system and or intention of system to characters. I'm not a fan of the one role engine. Never be, but I enjoyed this. I like this. This was fun for the characters and the setting and all of that. But the complications just threw away. That was fun. And I loved these two other chuckleheads that were in the game. Like Dino was so badass, and I love that Sparkles who just shooted everything, right? Started shooting everything. I really enjoyed that. That pulled us from this could be a heist spy thing into this is straight up I don't know what you call this type of movie, but action movie. This straight up John Wick action movie, and that was nice.
Awesome. Thanks, Sabine. Who'd likes to go next for stars and reflections?
I'll echo. I'll go. I'll echo your wish, which is I kind of like to see what the mechanics and how that works with a character moving on. And I'm not sure where the game fits as far as the is it a long-term game or a short-term game? As a one-shot, we had a lot of resources to spend, but it seems like it should be a long-term game with short-term characters.
It feels like it's built for a one shot, but when you look at little bits of like how many hits you take, because you can only take a hit in what you put at risk, so you could really make your character last several sessions. Like, they are not made out of tissue paper.
Yeah. As far as stars, I mean, the characters that we saw were awesome. I really liked your epilogue, Sabine, with Matavi just kamikazing into the station. That was nice. And Dino coming out and being like, I like the idea of you having a cybernetic bomb eye, like a little thermal detonator that you can just blow up. Yeah, that was really neat.
Excellent. Thank you, Stephen. Anesh, any stars out there left for you?
I enjoyed the game. This was a lot of fun. I feel like it's good for getting those big action scenes because you have a lot of freedom to narrate. But on the other hand, you have to be very okay with the dice directing the spotlight because there's no other way to it. And that can be, I feel like for a one shot like this, it's fine. But if you were playing a longer game and you were kind of shut out of several scenes in several sessions, that would feel kind of bad.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about that last scene that we did. Were the only two people that had narration were Rich and myself?
Yeah, that was.
I did one thing. But I think that that was just when I rolled in extra die. So yeah.
So yeah, I mean that illustrates your point where basically we went from Rich having a lot of narration rights, which made sense because we would catch up at some point, to me taking completely over, and that was it. And it's just because of rolling all of the same dice. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Regarding the resource management, I feel like for a one shot, you have to figure out exactly how many conflicts will be appropriate for draining the resources. And I think that there is like a very mathematical, it's like, oh, it's 4 conflicts or it's 5 conflicts or something like that, depending on the number of players and whatever.
Yeah, but the whole thing is so swingy that you can't really foresee how many resources you need, and
That's
you
a
have to use
No,
up.
but I think you can see kind of where like you're rolling 8 dice, 10 dice, 12 dice, 14 dice,
Yeah,
right? For the GM. So
Mhm.
you can kind of you can't figure out the end result, but I think you can figure out like what's a reasonable number of conflicts.
yeah,
And I think the
yeah.
players need to know how many conflicts there are beforehand, so that they can manage the
Yeah.
team pool
Yeah,
appropriately.
I agree. Yeah,
It's a lot like an old school game, like you mentioned, Rich, in that the dice make it so swingy. So a good example is in that last fight, I rolled 11 dice total and had 6 threes. But in the fight before that, I think I rolled 10 dice and I think I had a triple pair. Or, or 3 of the same type.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
it's
yeah.
wild. I told Paul Beakley that I was about to run this game, and he said, "Oh, let me know how it goes." And when I did that first in the last conflict, I rolled my dice. I messaged him because I messaged him in the one where you guys cleared me out, taking out the governor. I said, "I'm totally hosed. I rolled like crap." And then I said, "Oh, but I rolled like gangbusters. They are totally screwed." And then you burn those traits, and it just flipped everything. I mean, it felt super cinematic. It felt very much like the chips are down, one guy does a thing and pulls it out. But Sabine didn't get to do anything, as Andeshi pointed out. Andeshi got to burn a trait. So it's just, wow. It's
And it's
wild.
also like
and I didn't get to do anything in the first round that we
that's
had
true.
because I was helping, and I was like,
Mhm.
okay, this is fine. I got to solve the governor thing, which was nice.
Yeah.
If I hadn't rolled well in that one, I would have been like, yeah, that was like, it was fine. It was okay, especially with the point where I was like, okay, we're gonna lose this, and Steven took over. But
Yeah,
that's
I'm
a
not
good
sure
point.
I actually used any of my dice at any point. I did some narration because I described when we were going into things. Yeah, actually I did. No, sorry, that was I think the only times I narrated anything was when I was rolling in new dice.
I thought you actually got a turn during the governor stuff to explode your eye.
No, that was when I rolled in those dice
Was
to
it?
have
Oh, wow.
to have some. Yeah.
Uh,
I just had pairs the whole time, so I was like way down on the, and that's fine. I'm not. This isn't a complaint
Yeah,
about the
I didn't
session
think it was
because I had a lot of fun.
We're
But,
just
So I
we
wanna-
were just talking about how it impacts play.
I want to
Yeah,
step back to something Sabine mentioned, which was about the helping has a player sit out. And I
Yeah,
think that's probably a bad mechanic because
Yeah.
sitting out is, and maybe it's intentional that like maybe in the first session or the first thing you sit out and then you go, hey, that sucked, so I'm going to go back and I'm never going to sit out again. And I'm always going to force people to go to the team pool to get stuff. But in that case, I would have just said skip it. You try to help. That person is on their own and you just take from the team pool.
yeah. There's a mechanical advantage in that you can't take a hit, so you're protected. But that doesn't feel like it's worth it. One thing I wanted to mention before I forget it is that the only time there's tension is when you're rolling dice, because once the dice are out there, you can even if you don't know exactly, you can kind of see which side is going to win. So then it's just kind of playing it out, which can be fine, but it kind of removes some of the tension of and now I do this thing.
Yeah. There is additional tension as to when you roll your traits. I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
specifically
Yeah.
chose, like after my initial die roll, I knew I was low down on the totem pole and I'm not going to do anything for a while. So I'm going to let Rich narrate. But my thought was, as soon as I get hit, that's when I'm going to spend a few traits and roll
Mhm.
stuff. So I had a little bit of narrative with when I rolled traits. But boy, I could have rolled pairs for everything and then been like, okay, I'm still low down on the totem pole and we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. But it's interesting. I kind of it shift. It's a very fortune first thing, I guess. It's like you roll the dice and then you describe everything that happened. That's kind of how it works.
Right.
Instead of, but where most RPGs are like fortune in the middle, like you describe what you're trying to do, and then you roll the dice, and then you find out what happened. And this shift the rolls towards to be earlier in the sequence, which is interesting, but it also it removes some of the tension, but on the other hand, it gives more freedom for narration, which is an interesting trade-off, I guess.
Hmm.
And I also found it super interesting, like I was saying earlier. It was like, now I can take from the teamwork. I'm going to take everything, right? I'm just going to roll my 15 dice and see what happens. That's what it was. This is what the game reminds me of. There's that mechanic where it's like, I'm just going to take it all because there's no limit to it. Reminds me of, there's a game called Parsley. And in Parsley, it's a storytelling game where basically the players take over one character and it's supposed to be like a party game, so a bunch of people do stuff.
Hmm.
And there are save points. There are 3 save points throughout the game where you can start over from some place because you're trying to search through a house or something like that, or search through a space station. And I read an actual play from someone who said they had played with someone who was like, I want to play close to the edge. It got to be their turn and they were like, save. And they wasted saves as it came up to them so that everyone couldn't, basically everyone had to play very risky. And the same thing's true here. If a player says, I'm going to take all the team pool, then there's no risk. Or the risk is super high because no one else can get dice.
Hmm. In the next conflict, right? It's
Yes.
yeah, it's there's lots of interesting ways, lots of dice tricks here.
On our first thing, when we were breaking into the building, if I had grabbed all the teamwork out of the pool, right, and we would have easily got into the building, but we would have failed our mission, or everybody would have been all kinds of messed up going forward. So you can kind of control a little bit of the risk associated with that. It's just, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, but as a player, you don't want that, right? If you're not
Right,
totally
right.
Right.
It's like the strategic choice works against the kind of social contract that we normally play with. So yeah, it's weird
And like,
that it sets that at odds.
at some point, I was like, okay. Whenever I thought about emptying the team pool, I was like, I'm not going to empty it. I'm going to leave enough fan mail points for other players because they're going to do something cool, right?
Yeah.
And so it was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but the fan mail doesn't get used a lot. I think it got used once.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Well,
So,
it's a one shot. That's
Yeah.
I will say playing this game was to me a little bit like going to see an art house film. I was like, I have different expectations and I'm looking for a different experience, and I got exactly what I would kind of. Yeah, I'm geared for this. Is this a game I'll go back to frequently? Maybe not. But it was super interesting, and the conversation that it generated after, and seeing the freaking role that Steven threw out and how it shaped something was fascinating. Really enjoyed
I
it.
think the comparison I want to use here is a Tarantino film. This was a Tarantino.
Yeah.
This was a
Yeah,
Tarantino game. You started out with Inglourious Bastards, and it's basically, that's what it is. You
Yeah.
don't hold back. You don't sneak in. You just blast away, which was hilarious.
Yeah, I love the narrative choices you guys made with these characters. It was really fulfilling. Like, oh, we're leaning hard into this. I'm into it. That's awesome. Cool.
nonsense.
With that, I'll bring the recording to a close. Thank you all so much for giving this a shot with me. I really had fun.
Yep.